Church intro video.
Church intro video.
Church intro
Hello
video.
and welcome to the church intro. Hello and welcome to season 3, episode 44 of the Berean Manifesto. Faith, hope, and love for the modern Christian. So I've got this new product from Adobe Audition, and my mic is way too loud, and I'm trying to figure out how to turn down the gain inside the app. But I don't see the gain change.
And since you've moved your desk setup again, I actually had to turn you down on the stream a little bit because you were super loud. Super loud. I barely hit the yellows, and you're hitting the red, so I've turned you down again.
I may have to just fix my gain issue in post.
You might have to, and that's okay. Posty post.
Posty post, posty post. Why is it not just a setting, just like it is in outline? It might be a setting that I'm just not seeing it, you know? Or maybe view.
Yes, I am getting a little bit of feedback from something. It just started again. Not the same feedback, it's just a little fuzziness.
Weird. I don't know why. Levels.
There's the grossness again. Grossness is back.
I didn't do anything.
I just lost. Yep. I'm gonna mute you for a second. Alright, you're muted until you get that figured out, because it's loud now. It was not loud before. I know. I know. I don't know what happened. I'm not sure. But right now, you're muted. It went away. Alright, I'll let you back to talk again, because it went away. I'm not sure what it was. Since you didn't change anything, you said.
It went away, and I literally didn't change anything. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, the music should still be there. We're still technically in the intro.
Advanced mixing.
Boop, boop, boop.
When was that? 2 minutes. Biggs says. Thank you for the update, Biggs.
No, it's 1 minute, 35 seconds.
Okay. 1 minute, 35 seconds.
Well, no, now it's 1 minute, 29 seconds.
Well, it's gonna keep changing.
Oh, yeah, that is how time works.
That's how time works. I mean, usually, in most places, that's how time works.
Hello, Phoenix. I know, Biggs, we're messing with you.
Why are we messing with him?
He said when he typed, it was. Which, yeah.
He's not wrong.
He is not wrong. $40.
Yeah, I'll just have to fix this in post. That's fine. I can do that.
And we can play with it during the week and figure it out.
Yeah.
Or during a different stream. Doop, 20 seconds. Are you gonna do the weird soft opening again? I give you such a hard time when you change that.
Maybe. I might do it.
And we're here. Hello!
Hello and welcome to Korean Manifesto Season 3, Episode 44.
Yep.
Faith, Hope, and Love for the Modern Christian. We are recording this live on Sunday, the September 12th at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you wanted, you could join us on Sundays. We broadcast this live to Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. And you can find out which channels on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook by going to ekk.house, house. And then you can join us, and you can see our lovely faces. Not that our faces matter, like Nooms keeps saying. Nooms would rather we not even do video version of this, but you know, that's neither here nor there.
I don't like my face.
And you can be a part of the conversation in the chat. And yeah, so then it becomes less of you just listening to what we're saying and more you can actually input if you wanted to. If you didn't want to input, you wouldn't have to. That'd be fine too. But we would like to have as many people as possible join us live so that we get actual, conversations going. And it's not just us, speaking out to you, but you're a part of what's going on. So, yeah.
Yes, more of a discussion.
Right.
Which is what we've always tried to focus on, not.
Yeah. So how was your week, Pastor Nooms?
My week's pretty good. It's been very busy. Trying to wrap up one position and move towards the next in my professional life. So it's been very, very busy. So, yeah, that's always fun. And then started playing a game that I played a long time ago, and
Wasn't that the week before last when we started playing? No, that was this week, wasn't it?
It was this week. And then we actually did our first Gaming with the Pastors stream.
Yeah, we did.
And that was fun. It lasted about 4 hours till some time in the morning that is way past both our bedtimes because we're old.
Way back. And then I stayed up another hour.
You told me 30 minutes.
It was 3 a.m. Didn't we turn off the game at 2?
No, it was 2:30.
Oh, so 30 minutes then. Another 30 minutes.
I was like, how late did you really stay up?
No, I did. I turned it off at 3, and then I was in bed by 3:15, which is still, for me, at my age, just way too late. But yeah. Bad Brains is joining us on Facebook and YouTube.
Or she switched, one or the other.
Or she switched over from one to the other. She says she's at a Subway. And I asked her to bring me a meatball sub, because if you don't know that Rock Sunshine on Facebook and Bat Brands on YouTube, that's my wife. And she's out with the girls and the Finnick today. They were looking at Halloween costumes and doing some Halloween shopping because it's a big holiday for us, and we celebrate it as much as we can. And then Biggs asked if she would bring him a meatball sub too. She said she'd meet him halfway, which he's saying is Little Rock, Arkansas.
It is. That is the halfway point between our two places.
And I honestly hope she's joking, because I don't think we can afford the gas right now to drive to Little Rock and back.
And if you're going to drive to Little Rock and she comes halfway to where we live without you, can you imagine how salty you would be when you realized she was halfway to my house and you didn't get to? Go the rest of the way. I think you'd be pretty salty.
Biggs, can you imagine the Uber Eats bill to drive a meatball sub from the Metroplex to Little Rock, Arkansas?
And it's not like we don't have Subway. It's the funniest thing for him to request.
Yeah. It's funny. Give me a meatball sub and drive it to Nashville. Or halfway is fine. I'll meet you halfway. You know.
Biggs, on the upside, he actually, the chip issues they were having with the braking systems at Nissan is over at the moment. So he actually gets to return back to work tomorrow, which is
I
great
assumed
news.
It was, since I got my computer.
Well, the shortage is not over.
But better.
But better. And we'll see where it ends up.
Right.
Because at first it was the chips for the onboard computers, which caused the issue, and that also caused your issue. And then it was because of a different part for the braking systems, which was different. And now, like he's mentioning, they are day-to-day at the Nissan here up in Smyrna, Tennessee, and we will continue to pray they get all the parts they need and no other natural disaster or pandemic that people are saying has moved from a pandemic to a whatever the next stage is.
There's a stage after pandemic?
A pandemic is like a sudden onset, and it sits and then it should go away. And then you have something like
so they're calling it a plague now?
No, a plague is technically a type of pandemic, but it's like an endemic or something. Like it's like what the flu is, where it just never goes away. It's just different all the time. I read something, them trying to change that to stop referring to it as a pandemic because it's not going anywhere, which of course is frustrating to read anywhere. And your video is frozen, but your audio is coming through great, so I'm not sure what's going on with that.
Your video is frozen as well.
Yeah.
And what I'm receiving on my phone, I'm pretty sure I'm on the correct Wi-Fi.
Well, you can check because we won't know. Oh, yeah, it updated right as you checked. That's always fun.
Can't get it to... There we go. Yeah, I'm on the cellular instead of the...
Well,
so should be... I'm on the right thing.
Yeah, it's real bad quality. But luckily, we'll fix that in post.
Anyway.
The
we
podcast...
can't fix video in.
No, but the podcast, the voices will be great even if it hiccups because of how we're doing it now. Technically, we're not dealing with any for the podcast. It's just the video isn't always perfect, which happens.
Yeah, the video is the only thing we're actually broadcasting right now.
Yeah.
Because, or rather recording. We're broadcasting the voice to the live video, but then by the time the podcast comes out, I record my audio now to my computer that I have lovingly named Bertha. This is Big Bertha down here. She's
Please explain what Big Bertha is, because when you first told me, I was like, that is so insensitive. And then you explained to me what Big Bertha actually is, not just a big lady named Bertha.
No. Growing up, I was a fan of Super Mario Brothers. And in Super Mario Brothers, you fight a bunch of different bad guys. And one of the hostiles, the bad guys, the species is called Cheep Cheep. And there are these fish. And one of the fishes is named Big Bertha. And she's this giant Cheep Cheep that when you're running through the level, she comes up to the surface and she goes back and forth across the bottom of the screen, waiting for you to fall into the water so she can then attack you. And that's Big Bertha. And she's this giant fish, beautiful giant fish. I love her. She's like my favorite hostile in all of Super Mario Brothers fandom. And so, so Big Bertha is this giant fish that is very difficult to take down, to defeat. And you don't have to defeat her. You can just jump past her. And sometimes I like to just stand on a platform and watch her swim back and forth underneath me. Now, on a side note, they did come out with a Super Mario Brothers movie. And they did cast someone as a Big Bertha. And it was a large black woman. But that's not the point, nor is it what I've named my computer after. I've named my computer after the video game character Big Bertha, not the Mario movie character Big Bertha. Anyway, now you're looking it up. Why are you looking it up?
Because I did not remember a big... Oh. The bouncer at the Boom Boom Bar.
The bouncer at the Boom Boom Bar is Big Bertha.
Yeah. That explains why I looked up one of the stickers of the Cheep Cheep that you were looking at has her and it. Because I was like, who is this person sitting next to this fish in this thing that I looked up? The Super Mario Brothers from 1993 is a very interesting piece of cinematic something.
You pretty much have to be a fan of Super Mario Brothers to enjoy it. But then also, if you're a fan of Super Mario Brothers, you're going to hate it. So it's that whole, that whole love-hate relationship thing.
It's a real interesting movie. The swaying is what gets me in that movie.
Of the Goombas.
The Goomba swaying. Will you stop that?
And then it's fun that they de-evolve King Koopa from a human form, and he just becomes a T-Rex. That's so much fun. They're like, straight up, we're like, yeah, King Koopa's a T-Rex. Just, that's what it is. That's why he's got those little arms. And that's why he's so angry. He's a T-Rex.
But they didn't have shells, and he has a shell.
I know.
It was too... I'm not going to complain about movie
it's Japanese
adaptation.
Artistic license. Right? They give him a shell because it's artistic license. He can have a shell. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
No.
My week was...
Wait. I want to be clear. I'm not mad that King Koopa has a shell.
Oh, you're mad that in the movie he didn't.
Right. Let's be clear.
Okay.
I'm not like dinosaurs have to be accurate in every way they're portrayed. But don't portray a thing with a shell who, breathes fire and all this other stuff. Oh, he's just a T-Rex. No, he's not just a T-Rex. T-Rexes are cool. Not insulting T-Rexes. But he's not a T-Rex. He's a Koopa. That's the point.
Koopa. He's the king of the Koopas.
And the daddy of a whole bunch of them.
In that movie, they pushed real hard about the mushroom stuff. The Mushroom Kingdom and the Mushroom King. And the fungus part of the king that was the fungus growing everywhere.
That movie was special.
Yeah. All right. So, how was your week, Pastor Bill? Well, my week was great. This is the second week in a row I've had to ask myself how my week was because you didn't ask me.
I was getting a drink. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So my new computer came in, my Big Bertha, which I've ordered that sticker. Nooms found me a sticker of a Big Bertha, and see, I couldn't find it because I was typing in Big Bertha, and I couldn't find it. And Nooms was like, people are stupid. So he typed in Super Mario Brothers fish, and it came right up.
Okay, now to be clear, that is not what I said. What I said was, you were like, I'm looking for a Big Bertha sticker. And I was like, what the world is Big Bertha? And you're like, it's the fish from Super Mario Brothers. You know.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I don't. Because I didn't know those things had even had names. And so I Googled Big Bertha Mario, enter, nothing. And I was like, well, I didn't know it was called Big Bertha. Mario fish, enter. Is it this? Where did you find that?
And then it was just titled Cheep Cheep. And I was like, well, that's the species, but that's not what the name of that character is. Yeah, but all of them have names. Every character in the Mario games has a name.
Well,
every one of them.
And almost every character in almost every video game has the developers given names to, which is like with a lot of movies, extras, certain of the extras have names. That's John. And you're like, why is it John? 'Cause John doesn't have a single word.
So this is a little different At the end of Super Mario Brothers 3, when you beat the game, it starts playing music. Da 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 da
Right.
da 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 da. Right. Da 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 da. And the bad guys come out one by one, and it gives you their name.
Yeah.
It actually tells you what their names are. And so
Which is
it's
kind of a
not just
cool
something.
thing.
Yeah, it's not just something the developers thought up. It's something the developers were like, yes, we're officially in game gonna tell you
almost
who these characters are.
Everything back then. Nowadays games are different because a lot of bad guys just says I'm Bob up above their head. But even back then, everything was named. You just didn't always know it. Like you were talking about your favorite Zelda bad guy, and I'm like, I played the game. Like I didn't know the bad guy had a name. He was the dinosaur bad guy. You're like, I don't know. And you're like, it's my favorite bad guy from this is this, and I'm like, huh? Who from what? All right, calm down, dude. Anyway.
Yeah. So my computer came in.
Yes.
And I ordered a sticker to put right here on the side of him.
Yes.
So I can look down and see my Big Bertha with a sticker of Big Bertha on it. I'm very excited.
I understand that you are.
Yeah. And so my week has been full of. And first off, let me say, I did not know that just trying to open the box of my computer was going to be a physical workout. But literally just trying to get the box open was a physical workout and made my muscles sore. So crazy. Is it operational? Yes, my computer's operational. We used it when we streamed yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
No, day before yesterday. And yeah, I've got it running over here. It's recording my voice. My microphone's running into it. And then my phone is doing my video. And then I'm typing on my laptop. Typing on Discord on my laptop. So I've got two computers running and a phone to run my setup right now. Fun.
Yes.
So my week has been setting up a computer and downloading programs and
which you haven't done in many years.
Yeah. And running cables and falling asleep under my desk and you didn't see that post on Facebook? I went down underneath my desk to plug in some cable, and then probably 20 or 30 minutes later, Roxanne found me asleep using the subwoofer down there as a pillow. I was just asleep down there. I fell asleep plugging in a cable.
I typically don't use Facebook as much as I should, quote unquote.
Should.
Because my friends are always like, "Well, I put it on Facebook," and I'm like, I check Facebook for like 15 minutes, like Monday through Friday in the morning while I'm eating breakfast. So when did you post it? Sorry, it must have got lost in all the other stuff. Like I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
And then my shoulder was all kinds of sore from laying on the, falling asleep on the floor. But anyway.
Yeah, because your floor is not exactly conducive for sleeping either.
It's just a piece of plywood, man.
That's what I'm saying. I was around when you replaced it.
So, I think, that was how my week was.
Cool.
So now it's time for getting to know the pastors. Pastor Nooms, it's your week to pull out a card from your deck that you say is infinitely better than my deck. So.
I don't say infinitely. I say better. I can't prove infinite. Putting words in my mouth. Alright. If you could have any object or place in the world completely to yourself for one day, what would you choose?
Any object
or place. So, like, do you want an amusement park that only you get to be at for a day?
Well, then who would run the rides?
You get it to yourself. So if it's a thing that has to be operated, those people would be there, but they would not get to enjoy the park. They'd be just standing around picking their nose till you get there, like an NPC
so I'm
in a
the
video
only
game.
one that gets to enjoy it.
Right. And it says to
the
yourself.
people are working.
Well, it doesn't specify. You can't invite someone. It just says to yourself.
Yeah, it says object or place. What thing would I want, or place would I want, all to myself for one day?
Yeah. That's a rough one. Because the only thing I can think of is my own house. Because I don't get to be by myself a lot. Because So Biggs on Twitch says he would like a Lamborghini for a day. Phoenix says Disney World for a day. I think I stand by my house by myself with nothing to do other than hang out. But maybe like a tank. Could I just like drive around a tank for a day? I don't know. I wouldn't want a sports car or something. I'd end up wrecking it and killing myself or something. I don't know.
I can't think of anything.
And see, the problem is it says in the world. If it didn't say in the world, I'd say something like the TARDIS. Because a day define 24-hour. You know what I mean? Like once you've stolen the TARDIS, you got the TARDIS. Like I haven't gotten back yet.
You got it. The day is. That's funny.
Or the DeLorean, same thing. Now the DeLorean is more fun because that mythos allows for time paradoxes, whereas the Doctor often doesn't. The TARDIS doesn't. So you could, go back to in time, actually get lotto numbers and change your life, as opposed to the TARDIS. Somehow the Doctor would show up and beat you for it. Bill's still trying to think. We broke him. This card broke him, guys.
I have no idea. I honestly, I don't know.
No, I just thought of something that could actually be a thing, and I would like.
What's that?
The King Spa.
I've never been.
I know, but I love that place. The thing I hate the most about it is there's so many people there. But just to be able to enjoy all those different saunas and the pool and the everything without people, I think I would thoroughly enjoy that. I think I could get behind that. Yeah. Final answer. Yeah.
That's your final answer?
That's my final answer. And you still don't know.
I have no idea, man. An emo amusement park. Zadie says Rain would like an emo amusement park. That's funny.
What does that even mean?
Rain GFG?
What? Yeah.
Oh, you mean emo amusement park?
Right.
I think it would be like a Nightmare Before Christmas themed, with nothing but My Chemical Romance playing over the.
I was gonna say like the Black Parade plus Tim Burton movies plus that could be cool. That could be cool.
Or not just not the whole thing is the Nightmare Before Christmas, but like Disneyland does. There's a Nightmare Before Christmas neighborhood, and there's a Edward Scissorhands neighborhood, and there's like a Addams Family neighborhood, and Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it.
I think there's a lot of us that would enjoy to go there for a
I
day.
I honestly think that there is some marketing potential there, but it would be really hard to pull off all the licensing and getting all of it in one place. But I really think I could completely see, and the paint would be terrible. Painting everything black and keeping it black would be just awful. But
We don't
I
have to paint everything black. You paint it all, how that universe is, how that world is. So, like in Edward Scissorhands, everything is really bright, except for his house.
That's true.
Everything
That's
else in the
true.
world is really bright.
Yeah, that is true. That's true.
Anyway, I don't have an answer to the question, so.
Well, it sounds like you have to design an amusement park now, and that's where you'd want to be for the day.
Ha!
I think that's the. You just start drawing up plans with all your new computer programs.
Oh, you're so funny.
I know.
I got enough on my plate already. I'm good.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we're sufficiently warmed up.
Yep, we're at the 30-minute mark.
Yeah. So tonight we are talking about something that we've talked about it. I don't want to say recently, but we've talked about it since we started doing the podcast in this format where we record it live. Being content, finding contentment, and living in peace. And I don't know. I mean, like, we didn't know what we were talking about tonight until probably 4 o'clock.
Yeah,
today.
we were struggling to figure it out. Definitely.
Yeah.
There wasn't.
I don't ever want to force an idea. If we have to have just a hangout night, then we'll have a hangout night. I'm not gonna force. And so I just was listening and waiting on the Lord and listening to the Holy Spirit, which is a super abstract thing to do, until I felt like I came across a subject that the Lord wanted us to talk about. And so here we are, contentment and peace. So the scripture that I used for the art comes from Philippians chapter 4, and it's in verse 11. And so I'm going to read 11, and then we'll go back and we'll talk about the situation Paul's talking about. But this is one of those where he was talking about specific things, but then we can use that concept to apply to different areas in our life, right? So in verse 11, he says, and we're going to skip that first sentence. It's Philippians chapter 4, verse 11, part B. For I've learned to be content in whatever circumstances I find myself. Okay? So that's what we're talking about, being content in whatever circumstances. And Paul specifically, we're going to jump back to verse 10 and read down through 14. Once again, Philippians chapter 4, starting in verse 10. I rejoiced in the Lord greatly because once again you renewed your care for me. You were, in fact, concerned about me, but lacked the opportunity to show it. I don't say this out of need, for I have learned to be content in whatever circumstances I find myself. I know both how to make do with little, and I know how to make do with a lot. In any and all circumstances, I have learned the secret of being content. Whether well-fed or hungry, whether in abundance or in need, I am able to do all things through him who strengthens me. Still, you did well by partnering with me in my hardship. All right. So basically, he's saying, You were once a financial supporter. You helped support my ministry, and then for a while there, you couldn't. Something happened. We don't know. Something happened where they couldn't support his ministry financially anymore, and then they were again. And he's basically, making note, thanking them for their financial support. And he's going to this whole thing about, I'm not thankful necessarily because I need it, because I'm content whether I have stuff or not, but I am thankful for your partnering with me, because it's not about $1, it's not about $1,000, it's not about the amount, and it's not about what he can get with the support. It's about having that support, creating that synergy. So that's what Paul is talking about. But we're taking that concept and thinking about how can we apply that to our lives today? How can we be content in all of our circumstances? Because there's a lot of circumstances to not be content about right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Quarantines and pandemics or endemics or whatever you want to call them now. Vaccinations, forced vaccinations, masks, forced masks, poor Australia with what they're going through. I mean, that's taken things to a whole new level. I mean, even if you either side of the way you see things about mandates and pro-vaccine or anti-vaccine, what's going on in Australia is a whole new level of interesting, I have to say.
I actually don't know what you're talking about, so I'll have to look this up later.
Okay, so the government basically said you need to get the vaccine or not leave a certain amount of distance from your home. Okay, great. Well, that still didn't curtail the spread. So then they said, okay, well now you just need to stay in your home if you're not vaccinated. Okay, so that's fine. And then they said, okay, well now we're going to release a phone app. And the phone app, we want you to voluntarily take a picture of yourself on this timetable schedule, and the phone app will be able to tell us if you're infected or not.
How?
Okay. I don't know.
Okay.
And now they are required to take a photo every 24 hours showing they are in their home, and if they miss a check-in, then they will be issued a warrant for their arrest.
Okay. That is a little interesting.
Yeah. So like I said, it's interesting. It's a whole new level of something. So being content, right? And it's not a concept that's easily done. It's not a concept that's easily grasped. It's not something that I can say, well, I figured this out and I want you to send me $29.95 and I'll send you my book on how to figure out how to be content. No, this is a real life, this is real life. I'm working on issues. Pastor Nooms is working on issues. We are constantly growing and learning and figuring things out. And I'm not going to sit here and go, well, everything's perfect. I've figured it all out. I know one thing that struck my mother from our podcast is when I said, I'm not afraid of clowns anymore. And my anxieties went away. And she's like, you got to tell me how you did that. You got to tell me what did you do to figure that out? And I was just like, I don't know. I don't have some universal answer. I just made peace with I'm going to live until I don't anymore. And all of that just kind of went away. So, and it's just, I don't know, something I'm going through. I don't know how to tell you how to do it for you.
Right.
Yes. Now, last week, we looked at 2 Timothy 1:7, right? God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was going to give advice in this area about being content and about having peace,
Mm-hmm.
it would be that. It would be this. We talked about that word sound mind
Mm-hmm.
goes back to being disciplined. It's disciplining your mind. And so my advice would be to obtain this state of contentment, to grasp this idea of peace and to work towards that. You need to be mentally disciplined. Oh no, there's a pandemic. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to run through all the scenarios of how that's going to ruin my... No, I'm not. I'm going to go into my mind and I'm going to think about how am I going to love my family? How am I going to love the Lord and keep my mind disciplined instead of letting it run rampant off into left field, right? And that's my advice and my suggestion on how to work on being content in whatever scenario you find yourself in. There's a lot of fear on social media right now about we're going to go into a time of food shortages and toilet paper shortages again, and there's going to be gas shortages, and it's real easy with what's going on in the world right now to have an undisciplined mind and just let it run wild. But we have to contain that and take control of our thought life and have some discipline in that area and not, go crazy.
And some of us have a gold medal in how quickly our mind can run rampant.
Oh man.
Because that is definitely one of my biggest struggles is anxieties, and I mean being at peace and being content in a situation is very, very hard for me. My anxieties, I am constantly having to rein it all in, because if I blink wrong, my mind goes, to 10,000 places. And it's just like, okay, no. And as Biggs just said, he tells us not to worry and to turn it over to him, because at a certain point it's like, okay, I can't worry about this. We had some situations this week financially that, it's going to be hard until we get, bounced back, and in between, there's always that unknown of in between a job and, something hit that we weren't expecting, and it's going to be interesting to figure it out. But I can't worry about it because we have everything we need. We have everything, it's just, okay, this week's weird. And so that's it. It's definitely something that I've definitely struggled with this week, especially more than normal. So yeah, it's definitely, that's always what we have to do. We have to continue to stop our mind from trying to run and try to grow in that area. But ooh, it's hard.
Yeah. And worrying about it's not going to make it better. It's not going to fix it. Like, all you're doing is literally torturing yourself by worrying about it. It's not. I mean, there is literally no situation where worry solves the problem. Right? You can make plans, you can analyze situations, and you can move forward, but sitting here going, well, I just don't know what's going to happen, and this could happen, and that could happen, and oh, it's just going to overtake us. Well, that's worry. But you could do the same thing as sitting down. You could sit down and logically go, well, this could happen, and if it does, then this. Or this could happen, and if it does, then this. And there's two different things. There's worry, where you're just a victim. You're the victim of the circumstances. And then there's the other where, no, I'm not a victim. I'm preparing. I recognize bad things can happen, and I'm preparing. Do you think that's in any way related to the pessimistic and optimistic thing? The glass is half full, glass is half empty thing?
I don't know. So, no, I think that's just two outlooks. Now, if you're really stressed out because the glass is half empty or half full, I would say yes. But the thought process of is it, I don't think is.
Okay. But you've heard what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously you have, but so basically, the optimist looks and says, "Oh, well, that's, you know, that glass of lemonade is half full, full," and the pessimist says, "Well, no, that glass of lemonade is half empty." And then the realist walks up and goes, "Guys, I don't think that's lemonade." Ah, the realist. I don't think that's lemonade, guys.
Yeah, that's he's a something.
That's an analogy for life. That's the analogy for life.
All right. Anyway,
I'm done. I don't have anything else to say. I was hoping you'd carry us for the next 12 minutes.
oh, Billiam.
Yeah, I went there. Biggs says he went there. I did. I went there. I edited the joke slightly.
You did.
So that the word was implied.
You did. You did. I did not. I was like, don't do it. Because I'm bad at editing. So if I start down a road, it's getting sad. Normally. You can ask Pastor Bill or anyone who knows me really well. I'm the king of bleeping the wrong word when trying to censor something. When you're real upset.
You absolutely are.
And I'll be like, I'll bleep the word in front of it or behind it and just let the middle flow. And you're like, I did that wrong. It's not what I meant to say.
I'm like, did you just bleep the word "the"? Well, what was wrong with the word "the" that you thought you had to bleep that?
Did you really not say mother? Why did you bleep mother? You love your mother. Why would you bleep that?
Your mother.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
First board meeting of the church. Just saying.
Right. And that audio is out there somewhere.
You want to do
practice contentment and peace.
You want to do another card and see if it's about contentment and peace?
Sure, let's do another card.
All right.
That'll be a good closer.
You've been given the chance to travel into the future and see how the world will change in the next 50 years. What change in particular are you interested in the most? Now my question is so follow-up question, do we get to return?
Huh.
Because if we're just traveling and then we're stuck there, I'm just going to care about prosthetics. I'm going to care about, things to increase and lower my pain levels.
Right.
If I get to come back, I'm going to be very interested in the stock market.
Zadie, the question was, if you could travel 50 years in the future, what change would you be most interested to know about?
And when I say the stock market, I don't mean I'm interested in the stock market because if you then put money into the stock market, you might change the outcomes. But like interested in like who's the next Google? Where do you want to position yourself in your business? Where do you want to position, things like that. How to properly position yourself for the next 50 years, not necessarily, well, I just want to make money because money's fun, but money isn't everything. And if you're miserable, you're miserable.
It's true.
That's why I was reading something somewhere. It's like if everyone was given $100,000 overnight, um, in 2 weeks, we'd still have a lot of rich people and a lot of poor people. And you're like, it's not necessarily inaccurate.
If everyone woke up with $100,000 richer, that would trigger what you call instaflation. Suddenly,
Well,
a
yes.
loaf of bread would cost $100.
Yeah.
Just overnight.
Yeah. And people would. People that have certain mindsets would continue to, and the outcome at the end would be very interesting.
Yep.
And like you said, it would be a situation like in some countries where the dollar means nothing.
Yep. It's worthless. Yeah, I have $100,000, which yesterday was worth $100,000. Today it's worth $10. Woohoo!
It's like when you're looking for a job. I have a friend who works in tech, and he was looking for jobs, and he'd get offers from foreign companies to work as an outsourcer for that foreign company that then outsources to America. And he'd be like, okay, and what's the salary? And they're like, oh, it's 100,000. He'd be like, okay.
100,000 what?
Yeah, and then it's like, wait. It's like, and it was like, oh, it's 15,000 a year, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
Okay, no.
You're like, I can't survive off of that.
Yeah, I can't pay my rent on that.
But in India, you'd be a rich man.
It's not that bad. It's like a third. That's like a tenth. But yeah, anyway. And I guess that also would depend on the part of India. If we're talking about the tech sector in Mumbai, that's a lot different than, other parts of India as well.
I haven't been to Mumbai. I've only been to Hyderabad and Andhra Pradesh. So.
Yes.
Yeah. But I like India. Maybe if I could have India all to myself.
I would. India is definitely on my bucket list because of our friend there. I definitely want to go to India and get asked several times a year on when I'm coming to India. And I really do want to travel to India. It's probably the only country at the moment where I'm like, let's go, because I don't like international travel. That's a lie. I don't like travel. It's like I don't like international travel. Well, I don't like national travel either.
If you do go, you need to have your friend buy your tickets. Not you buy your tickets, because if you buy your tickets, it's going to be infinitely more expensive than if he buys the tickets.
Yeah, there's definitely some interestingnesses around that.
Yeah.
But yes, that is actually on my bucket list of somewhere to go is India because
I loved my month in India. I really did. It's the only mission trip I ever went on that, like, the last 2 weeks of the trip, I was trying to figure out how I could get switched to a 2-month trip from my 1 month and not go home at the end of the month, because that's how much I loved India.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, it's definitely
I had to go home.
it's it is a place I would love to see. I've got, friends from a couple different of the areas of India,
Yeah.
and the way they talk about, one's from more of like the fishing area,
Mm-hmm.
and the way he talks about the being able to go to a cafe that's literally on the water, and blah blah blah. It's just there's some very interesting. You can get a lot of. Each of the areas are very very different.
Yeah. And
From the
being a
north to
pale
the south.
Caucasian, as long as you don't go too far north, you'll be just fine.
Yeah, there are the areas in the north that you should probably
Yeah.
stay out of.
Anything north of the state of Andhra Pradesh, you don't want to go there as a pale Caucasian. That's
And there's certain areas up north you don't want to go as a Christian either, because they are
well,
not.
that's
Yeah,
why you don't want to go as a pale Caucasian, because they assume
yeah,
you're a Christian,
yeah.
and the Muslims there are quite aggressive, and um, there have been lots and lots and lots of incidents over the years.
Yeah.
Which, let's be honest, colonizers, we're paying for decades and decades and centuries of aggressive colonization and theft of land and denigration of local populations. And yes, white people did that. And I know it wasn't exclusively white people. There are other races that were involved in colonization, but white people led the charge. And yeah, I fully understand some of the aggressive stances that are happening in the world, and that's still happening in the world. I get it. I get it.
Like they always talk about, there was a time with England where the sun didn't set on the kingdom,
Yeah.
because they had expanded so much.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you're listening to this and you enjoy this podcast, then I'm glad to hear that. I hope that we're speaking into your life and making you a better modern Christian, and that you are learning how to have a deeper faith, how to embrace hope, and how to love more. And like I said, if you want to join us on Sunday evenings at 6:30 Central Standard Time, we'd love to see you in chat. And this podcast comes out every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, wherever you get your podcasts. And now we're going to do a little thing we call the 30-second buffer song, because some of the platforms we're on require a 30-second buffer.
And a side note, if you want to see our face outside of the Berean Manifesto, you can randomly at Pastor Nooms on Twitch. Just saying.
Gaming with the Pastors.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug for one of our ministries.
We're going to be playing DCU online and enjoying it and trying to meet new people and build relationships, which is fun.
Pretty soon we're going to have to get Satisfactory, because I want to play Satisfactory.
That is on the list, yes.
I think it's going to have to be next on the list, because I really want to play it.
We could do that. Okay.
30-second buffer. 30-second buffer. 30-second buffer. Has it been 30 seconds yet?
No.
No, of course not. That's not how time works. 30-second buffer. 30-second buffer. 30-second buffer. You guys have a great week.
Be safe out there.
We love you.
We love you.
And until next time.
I'll press the button now.
Press the button.
Bye.